Did you did you
Huh?
did you work in the shipping yards? Did you do
Yeah,
welding?
that's where I was coming to,
Uh huh.
because when the war broke out, they wanted everybody they could get. So I went to work in the shipyard.
Uh huh.
Well, before I went to work there, I had to go learn how to do it.
Uh huh.
And I went to school. They sent me to school. I didn't have to pay for that.
Uh huh.
They sent me to school. And when I got finished, then they gave me a job.
Well, tell them about taking the test.
Huh?
Mom told a little bit, but tell them about taking the test.
I took the test all right. They didn't want me to, but I took it. I was mad. It gets so hot out there. It was just terrible, and you could hardly stand the heat and everything else. And then to them refuse to let you take the test just because you're a woman. And we all had to go to welding school and learn how to do it before they let us come to work. So anyhow, that's when I worked over there on that, what they call the flat slab, and I was one that had to pick up the welding, where the men made mistakes. They have to chip it out, and I had to redo it. They didn't want to let me take the test, and I knew I was better than most of those men because I fixed their work. No, you can't take it. You're a woman. All right. I went and sat down on the end of the slab. I said, now I'm not going to move until you let me take that test. And I was second class then. They started off with first, second, and third. Well, the third grade was the lowest, and I was second. They would let me take the second class test, but that was where you stopped. So I just sat down there. Well, after a while, the man that was over all of it came out there. And he asked me what was wrong. I said, well, I work out here and I'm second class. But I said, all these men are first class. And I have to correct their work. Yet, I'm second class. He said, well, let me go see. And he came back and he brought an instructor with him. And he told that instructor to take me over there. They had a little building with little things around it so you could take it in there and nobody could see you. So I went on with the instructor, and he laughed. He said, you don't think you're going to pass? I said, why can't I pass? He said, you're a woman. I said, oh, yeah, I know I'm a woman. So I went on over there, and they pulled those little shades around there, and he fixed that metal, and you had to take three tests. You had to take the first, second, and third. And so I took them all. And he took it off, and he said, well, I've got to go now, and when I get it tested, I'll bring it back and let you see it. So he come back and he dumped it out in my feet. That's where he said, well, I guess you know now you're first class. I said, no, I didn't know it. You didn't tell me. He said, well, you are. So I was the first woman to make first class in a Houston shipyard. They wouldn't let the others take them. It wasn't because they wasn't as good as I was. It's just because they wouldn't let them take them. They would buck up and argue with them.
And you would.
They wouldn't go sit on the
Sit on the slab and
When
sit
you're
there.
tired and it's hot, hot, hot. You see, welding on that metal like that, you having to walk on it, boy, you suffered death. It was so hot.
Gloria Steinem didn't know what it was all about, did she?
I kept those things that they test, the rods that test you with, for a long time, and then I was running out of a place to put things, and I threw them away.
Did you have to weld a pipe?
Huh?
Did you have to weld any pipe?
No, not
Just raw
inside, not on that, because we were welding on flat welding, we call it.
Welding.
So all they did, you did each one of your types of welding on there, then they bend it like that,
And it can't break.
and that's why it better not break.
If you get it too hot, it'll break.
Huh?
If you get it too hot, it'll break.
Yeah. Anyhow, they put the ship fitters, we called them, that they fit up the metal, and they put it together. And we had some, what we call flat welding. Put it down on the floor and weld it. Then you had, they were making compartments there. And that's where they stored the goods on the boat.
Oh, okay. Storage
See,
area.
so when they got that built and fixed, then they moved it up on the boat, and the men that was working up there would put them together, fix them. And it had to hold those pieces of metal together. And then you see, when you weld it, then you had a solid weld all the way down, and the stuff would stay in there. But the Germans was sinking them as fast as they put them out on the water.
Wow.
So I worked on everything they wanted me to work on until finally I got tired. And this other older lady came out there, and she'd already done all her work. She'd
Yeah.
taken all her tests and everything. And she asked me, she said, "Would you like to come and work with me?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. What do you do?" And she told me, she said, "I work over there on the deck slab, where they made the deck hole,
Wow.
where they fixed up at the deckhand." So went over there, and they were making deck house material,
Uh-huh.
all of that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I went over there, and I did what their service supervisor would tell me to do, and me and this other woman, and we got so good at it that there wasn't any of those men that could keep up with us.
Oh, that's great.
And then one day we wanted to go to the restroom,
Yeah.
there was a railroad track coming down up to where we worked,
Uh-huh.
that they'd bring us material on. And then sometimes they would be taking material back up to the front. So we decided we'd go to the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
And she and I started out together. It was about 11:45, I guess, something like that. It wasn't dinner time yet. And we were walking down that side of the slab, and we saw one of those big gantries coming toward us. You know what a gantry is?
Yeah. No.
Do you know what a gantry is?
No.
It's a great big machine.
Uh-huh.
It sticks up in the air, that has prongs on it and everything,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that hauls the material
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, we saw it coming, and we could tell it wasn't running right.
Yeah.
The things were wrong, and that thing was running close to the It was still inside the yard,
Yeah.
but it was too close for us. We
Yeah.
were walking along down the side. You see, we were going to go down up to the front where the services is, where the toilets were.
Yeah.
And we got scared, so we moved way off to the side.
Yeah.
They had metal wire pieces coming down like this from that plug up there where the gantry was holding on to them. And there were 16 welders welding in a group down there, and they were welding on the floor, what we call flat welding. And they never raised their head. They didn't know the gantry was up there. They didn't know the metal was there. They didn't know anything. And that metal got to whirling like that, and it broke that metal that was holding it, and it fell flat down on those 16 welders and killed them all.
Thank goodness for potty breaks.
Huh?
Thank goodness for potty breaks.
And you and-
Oh, I'll tell
you
you,
and
when
your
you don't
friend-
see too much of that till it gets to hurt.
Mother, were you and your friend working in that area before you left to go
No. No, we were working on the slab next to it.
next to it?
Now, were you just walking by it when it happened?
Huh?
Were you walking by when it happened?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, that wouldn't be something you'd never forget.
I had seen so many people killed out there, and the ambulances were going all day long. It's hard to take.
You know,